Hey, what's up, Panzer with another Pathflex video. In today's video, we're going to talk about how we made our headhunter that we got. I was a little late starting the league. I started the league, but then I had to take a break during the weekend. But we got the belt, and I did it largely with Harbinger. And I wanted to go over the strat we used so that you can use this too. It's still super viable. I think Horizon Orbs are going down. But conversely, I've got 7 fracturing orbs. I think these are going up in price, so it balances out. But the way that, because we don't have access to the Atlas tree, and I actually use the Atlas tree a lot during this event, which may sound weird, but the way we have our idols set up, so obviously we made a spreadsheet. Don't worry, we'll be going over that. But we have 32 spots in this idle system, and that means that we have each spot has a sort of a value, and we need to figure out what the value of that thing is and how best to maximize that. And so what this is really useful for is things that do not have a lot of passives or notables on the regular Atlas tree, because then if you have a lot of those, it super juices that mechanic. You can see this with strong boxes. Strong boxes is incredibly strong in this event because strong boxes only have a few nodes. I think there's a search function over here. So if I do strong boxes, then you can see there's only this wheel down here. Maybe zoom in a bit, and this just gives you +1 strongbox and magic pack chance around your strongboxes. Then you've got tamper proof, which is they're all rare and corrupted, and then secret compartments that you can open it again. And then over here, which is the backup cache, concealed disks, and vault of mystery. So just this is duplicating stuff. And then a lot of the power lies in Scarabs. Now we still have Scarabs, so obviously strongbox is very, very good. And the same applies to Harbinger. So if we look for Harbingers here, we've got just one wheel here with +1 Harbinger and 20% chance stacked 3 times to 60% for an additional stack of shards. And that's 1 stack of shards per Harbinger. So that could be a stack of transmute shards. So it's not that powerful. But then we've got another, some extra Harbinger chance over here. We've got the cooldown recovery rate, which is cooldown recovery rate for Harbingers is how often they summon those the extra dudes, and how often they throw out their lightning attacks at you. And then currency shards dropped by Harbingers in your maps can drop as currency items instead. So that's where you get a full you could drop Harbingers drop mirror shards, so you could just drop a whole mirror instead, or when it drops fracturing shards, it could just drop as a fracturing orb, or if it's a transmute shard, it could drop as a transmute orb instead. And then over here, we've got a 25% chance to be replaced by a powerful Harbinger boss. Now, the difference between a Harbinger boss and a regular Harbinger is huge. It's 4 times the currency, or the valuable currency. Maybe it's the same number of currency items, but the value is super tuned on the bosses. And then we got just some additional chance to have Harbingers. So if we take all of these, if we just take if we go this way around the map. So if we just take all of the Harbinger nodes on the regular Atlas, then, and we look in the Harbinger section over here, so we've just got 100% chance to get an additional stack of currency shards, which is not that strong. But it's good, it's just not that strong. 30% chance to contain 1 additional Harbinger. Your maps contain 1 additional Harbinger, so that's 1.3 Harbingers per map. And then 25% chance for that Harbinger to be good. And then 60% CDR, and then currency shards dropped by Harbingers drop as currency items instead. And that's it. That's all the mods for Harbinger. So I went over to PWDB and I looked up what the different types of Harbinger related things were. And they've got the idols here. So if you go to pwdb.tw, then you can see right at the top Legacy of Phrecia, and you just click on idols, and you've got all the different idols here. And so these Conqueror idols, if you click on this link, then it'll open up all the modifiers that can roll on a Conqueror idol, all of them. And if you just Control F for Harb, then you will find that there's your maps contain an additional Harbinger here. And then your maps have a 20 to 30% chance to contain additional Harbinger. So that's obviously very good. And if we had both of those, then that's one of the whole mods. That's a whole mod. And then over here, currency shards dropped by Harbingers in your maps can drop as currency items instead. So this is a 2x2 idol. And if we manage to get, let's just say we got additional Harbinger and shards as items instead, then when we're looking at the Atlas, then that's most of the important stuff here. So this one, not great. This one, pretty good. You know, one extra Harbinger, fantastic. This one is okay. And then we've got the shards dropped as currency items instead. So if we just had this one, this additional Harbinger, and this currency items instead, that brings us to basically half of the entire power of the Atlas tree in one 2x2, and there's 32 slots here. So I went through the rest, and the Conqueror idols, these are the 1x3s. The Conqueror idols are the tall ones, the tall boys. And, oh no, sorry, the burial idols are the laying down bros, so this is a 1x3, and the totemic idols, those are the 3x1, or if you're doing height versus, yeah, those are the tall boys. So the totems are the tall boys, and the burial idols are the ones where they're lying down, and they have the same mod pool, so they do not change the mods. And if we look for Harbinger here, then you can see an additional Harbinger, percent chance to gain an additional Harbinger as well, and then 20 to 25% chance to be replaced by a powerful Harbinger boss. And this is 20 to 25%. That's fantastic. Now, what I did mention is on the Conqueror idol, it says your maps contain an additional Harbinger. But this actually rolls to 2. It's 1 to 2 Harbingers. So you can get 2 Harbingers on your 2x2, and then on a burial idol, you can get the 25% chance to be a boss. And that's just 2 idols in the whole thing. So I went through and I put them all together, and this is what you can get. So I've color coded them for what I think is the best stuff. And we got total spots 32, 2x2 spots. We've got 4 of them available. We can also have 4 3x1 spots, and that's a mixture of totemic and burial ones. And then we got a 2x1 spot, and we got 2 1x1 spots. And so we can get Shards Droppers Orbs here, and then plus 2 Harbingers on a 2x2. And then we can get, these other things here, these don't really matter. I paired it with Deli because I was doing Strand, and Deli and Strand go incredibly well together. But you could put this here, you don't need these. You don't need these. You could just remove these entirely. But you want plus 2 Harbingers. So you got all these Harbingers here. This is 8 Harbingers. This is way more than you would get in a regular map, even with Scarabs. Well, maybe around the same as with Scarabs. And then the 3x1s, you got 25% chance for a Harbinger boss, times 4 gives you a 100% chance for it to be a boss. And then you get plus 1 Harbinger as well. And I wanted to, some Shrine chance, some Deli Orb chance. I don't think I ended up getting these, but... And then on a 2x1 chance, 2x1 idols, we've got percent chance for an additional Harbinger. And when you've got this number of Harbingers, you don't really need the percent chance for 1 extra. It's great though. And then additional currency stack, and more likely Harbinger Scarab. So when Scarabs drop, it's more likely to be Harbingers, because then you can, add the Scarabs in and sustain. And then Harbinger cooldown reduction. This was the most important one when it came to the 1x1s, because we can fit in. We could actually, I really want to see how much cooldown reduction you can stack on these, because I think you might be able to get it. I don't know if it goes above 100, because all of the increased chance for, percent increased chance for XYZ thing, they only go to 100. So if you get 500% chance for an extra Harbinger, it's just 1 extra Harbinger. You don't get 5. So Harbinger cooldown reduction, I'm not sure if it's worded the same way. Let's have a look. Cool D. If I have a percent increased cooldown recovery rate. Now that sounds like it's ambiguous. It's ambiguous. But I really want to stack 1,000 cooldown reduction and see if they just go because there's nothing better than getting hilariously gangbanged by the Blue Man Group. So this is the idols that I went with, and I can show you in the stats here what this gives us. So this is my I got this currency shards dropped as currency items instead, and I got this one had Scarabs found in your map have more likely to be less common varieties, so that was maybe I get some more Scarab Warhordes. But I wish there was a control F here. I wish there was a searchable function in these. But if we just go down, we can see that I have, when it comes to the Harbinger stuff, I think I have 10 additional Harbingers. I'll say I've got 30% increased cooldown recovery rate. I'm missing a spot here, and that's because I think I was using, not crop rotation, I was using this one, singular focus. So I wanted to maintain strand maps, and singular focus is really, really good for that. Although I found map sustain is pretty difficult this league, but I only have 30% cooldown reduction rate at the moment. I think you could do, I think the 60% is better. But so we've got 30% cooldown reduction rate for the Harbingers. We've got Scarabs dropped in your maps are 62% more likely to be Harbinger Scarabs, and that's one of the ones on my 2x2s. The Harbingers drop shards, drop currency items instead of shards. Harbingers in your maps are replaced by a powerful Harbinger boss. That's because all of my 3x1s, they all have 25% chance to be replaced. So all of my Harbingers are juiced. And then we come down and your maps contain 10 additional Harbingers. This is without Scarabs. This is without Scarabs. So you find so much stuff in here. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to do this without Scarabs because the Scarabs, I mean, you can imagine what the Scarabs do. They give you 3 additional for each of these. So we put the Warhordes one in, and that gives us basically double the number of Scarabs. And then we can take 3 additional, 3 additional, 3 additional, and 3 additional. Whoops, like that. So that's another 12 Harbingers. So we got 12, and they're doubling that. So this, if you just Alk and go, you can get easily, I think my idols cost not that much to put together. You can start off with some really, not great idols. This is what I did. Start off with not great idols, and then upgrade the idols as you earn the currency. But you can start off, and I think I had 6 additional Harbingers to start off with, and then I just started upgrading them each time I dropped some extra currency. But this brings you to 22 additional Harbingers and the doubling on this. So I'm just going to Alk and go this map to show you how ridiculous this whole thing is. Obviously, on the map device, you can take Harbinger as well for another 2. But if we just Alk and go, and I'm not going to run the whole map because these maps take time. These maps take time. I have a headhunter, they take time. So they do take time, but it's incredible money. So I also went with, like I said, I went with the Deli Orb as well, the Delirium Mirror as well. But if we just zoom past this, we'll eventually find our first, here's the first set of Harbingers. And there's 2 here. So there's one dude here and there's one dude here. And the amount of gold you get is extremely good as well. I found it was actually easier for me to just go through the map and kill everything and then come back and loot on the way back. Yeah, sure. Quantity, I wouldn't suggest doing this with Eater of Worlds. I would suggest doing this with Searing Exarch because there's a lot of quantity nodes on Eater, and Harbingers are not affected by area quant or player quant. So if you have, or rarity, so if you have a bunch of rarity, that's why Alk and go is fine, because you don't need to use chisels on these maps either. So we got some annulment shards over here. The amount of juice you get out of these maps is honestly insane. You get so many of the, I really get frustrated with idols that have Jun and Einar on, because then it's just additional stuff comes out of nowhere. I get, somebody tries to assassinate me, and then somebody tries to, beasts suddenly start appearing on my maps. Oh, it's very frustrating. So I wouldn't bother with, when I search for these idols, I put a not condition in the search. So if I'm searching for, Harbinger, Harbingers have a 25% chance to be replaced by a powerful Harbinger boss, then I'll put not area contains Jun, area contains Einar. Your maps have a % chance to contain Einar, % chance to contain Jun, that kind of stuff. But if you try this out, honestly, this made us, like, I got a headhunter from doing this. I think I would say it took around a day and a half of just blasting maps. Really, really easy. a strong build is recommended if you want to stand in the middle, like I do. You'll need some like leech, that kind of stuff. But otherwise, you don't need that. And if you don't want the deli on it, then it's going to make it a bit easier as well, because obviously delirium adds difficulty and challenge, and also quantum rarity to stuff. The more delirium there is, and the further away from the mirror you get. And harbingers are not affected by that as well. So the harbingers at the end of the map, if you're doing a strand delirium, then the harbingers at the end of the map are going to be dropping the same kind of stuff that the harbingers at the beginning of the map are going to be dropping. So I'm going to finish this map, and then we'll go over the loot. Obviously, there's a lot of sim splinters that you get from this too, but I'll see you in a second. Before we go, I figured I would show you what it's like with the whole setup anyway, because it was pretty funny. I'm gonna skip the deli because geez, it just takes forever with that. Deli I've been finding is a little bit buggy, but yeah, this is what it looks like if you choose poorly, if you choose violence. There's 1 or 2 harbingers here, and it can get pretty rippy, but also the XP is incredible. I've been offhand leveling these Tempest Shield gems, because I think Fubgun is using Tempest Shield, and lots of people are using Fubgun's build. So just offhand leveling Tempest Shield is really, really good money. So if you go here, then we can see I've got these level 18 Tempest Shield gems. A level 20 Tempest Shield sells for, I think it's like 50C, so you don't even need to corrupt it to 21. The 21s sell for like a div, I found, but I was also selling corrupted 20s for like 39, 40C. So this is what it looks like when you juice this situation. It's honestly quite ridiculous. As I said, the loot is basically quadrupled because we're doubling the number of harbingers, and we're doubling the number of shards that all the harbingers drop. So I think, does it say here? Oh yeah, area contains 24 additional harbingers, and that's, I think I've even got like, there's 2 extra harbingers I could have if I had another a slightly different idol. So this is what it looks like. It's really, really juiced, honestly. Stuff like this where you find yourself in a sea of blue by the sea. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So try it out, honestly. Let me know what you think. Anyway, back to the outro, I think. Okay, and here we go. I organized the loot a little bit, but this is a little low, but this is just Alk and Go, remember. So we got 2 annuls, which is very decent. We got an Ancient Orb, 11 Chaos, and Orb of Horizons. When you're doing just the Alk and Go version of this, then it's very, very quick. I started using Scarabs pretty much as soon as I could. Some of the Scarabs are a little costly. I would recommend, once you have 10 Harbingers, then start using a full setup of Scarabs. So use as many Scarabs as you can. So the Scarab of Warhordes, which doubles everything, I think that's around 18C though. Let's have a look. Yeah, you could get them for, let's say 20. So you could buy them for 20C, and also the regular Scarabs, the Harbinger Scarabs, because this is the loot you get now, and with a full setup of Scarabs, it more than quadruples this, because you get double the amount of Harbingers, so you go from 10 to 22, and then you also get all of the currency shards are doubled also. So it really, like, the Scarabs provide a huge scaler to this loot. So getting those Scarabs, this is, I would say this is around half a divine fairly easily. Ancient Orbs, I think they're going for, Ancient Orbs are, if you're playing in solo self-found, this is a really useful strat for you as well, just because Ancient Orbs are usually how you get your Headhunter or Mageblood in solo self-found as well. So Ancient Orbs and Orbs of Annulment, I was selling these, I think they're around, Annuls are around 30 for a divine, or 40 now. The Ancient Orbs, they're around 28 for a divine. And then obviously Chaos Orbs, you get a ton of those. Orb Horizons, they've gone down a little bit in price. Now I think I was selling them for 3C each. Yeah, so if I want to buy them, then they're 3C each, or if I'm selling them, then they're 3C each as well. So I mean, not 3C, they're 1/3 of a Chaos Orb each. So getting a little bit extra from the Horizons is also quite useful. Alterations, these are honestly, people take alterations off their filter. I think it's like 400 alterations to a divine, because everybody's using the recombinator. And that's how I got a lot of my idols, is by using the recombinator. So a lot of them are just one prefix and one suffix. So +2 Harbingers prefix and say a 25% Harbinger boss. Just smush them together, and you likely get a +1 Harbinger and 25% Harbinger boss chance idol out of it. The first few I made, I also sold a few of them as well, because some of the ones that I didn't I bricked, then people still want them because they want to recombinate them as well. So using the recombinator is incredible this league. It's every league that the recombinator is there, it's incredible. And yeah, 560, so they've shot up, well, they've shot down in value right now. So 560 is how much they're going for. But still, picking up a stack of alterations, then this is really, really useful currency, because it all really adds up. Also, the cluster jewels from Delirium is very, very good too, because I think the base for a lot of attack builds, which is this one, the 12% increased attack damage while holding a shield. This just the base item, I think this is around 100 CR, 80 to 100 chaos. So I would highly recommend this farm. It was incredible for me, and I hope that it's incredible for you as well. Obviously, Sim Splinters, Simulacrums are really cheap this league, because everybody got the Kirak, the free Simulacrum from Kirak when they loaded up, if they've been playing Settlers before. But the Delirium Orbs also, these go for quite a bit too. Anyway, that's it for this video. That's it for this farm. I think I'm gonna try out crop rotation. I've been doing that a little bit as well, and that seems like broken. So crop rotation, probably strong boxes. I think we're gonna try those out. Anyway, that's it from me. I hope you found this useful. I hope let me know in the comments what you think of it. And with that, I hope you are kind to everyone you meet. I love you all very much, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.